And let's kick it off with the men's Money in the Bank match. Drew McIntyre coming down with the briefcase. Andy, you called it. He was your pick. Now, before we talk about the aftermath and the craziness.
It's going to be hard not to talk about, bleed those two together.
Let's talk about the match, though. It kicked off the show. It was a fun match. Lots of hard bumps, lots of cool spots. I just thought it was a really, really, not the best men's match.
No.
But it was really, really good.
Yeah, I agree. I don't even think it was the best ladder match of the night.
Oh, no. By a long shot, it was not.
But it did its job.
Yes.
And I think that's really important. I think everybody came out of this looking either the same or better in a lot of ways. And so I really enjoyed it. I personally think Drew was the right call.
Yes.
To win this briefcase. I think the way he did it, I don't know if I've ever seen anybody chuck a ladder at another person on the top of the ladder. I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
But it makes sense that he was the one to do it. I also love the spot that AJ did a couple years ago, that Chad Gable did, where he was holding on to the briefcase trying to get it
and just
fell. That's a long way up, and that's a hard bump to take.
Bro jumped right up after the bump and took a spear.
Yeah.
Like that, I'm sure that knocked his breath out.
Oh, yeah,
and then he took a spear.
So it was a wild show. The one thing I was surprised at was not a single person got involved in this.
No.
Not a single interference.
No Wyatt Six.
Nope. No Bloodline.
No Logan Paul.
Nope.
None of that.
Nope. So no Punk, which we'll talk about later.
Yes.
But I was shocked that there was I just kept waiting for somebody to come out there.
Oh, yeah, me
and get
too.
involved.
For sure.
But overall, a really, really fun opening match.
Yep.
That I think the right winner was picked this time.
I love Carmelo Hayes in his Toronto Raptors gear.
Yeah, he looks sick.
He always does a basketball theme for the arena that they're in. It was super cool.
Yeah.
I love that.
I think he was probably my MVP of the match in some ways because of the bumps that he took.
We didn't talk about Andrade either. I thought
Andrade looked really good too.
Andrade was solid in the match.
But I think Carmelo looked really good.
He had the most to prove.
He did, and everything he did was with intent.
Yes.
And he sold like a madman in this match. So I will give him credit for that.
He did. My favorite spot of the match was the yeet punch exchange.
Oh, that was so good.
That was so good.
That was so good. They did it on SmackDown before, and like the crowd got into it. I was like, this is amazing. And then the Money in the Bank, it was so good.
We've talked about so much with the change in this regime and how we're seeing a whole lot of different production techniques that we've never seen before. How about the way they shot the end? Yeah. Where you thought Jey Uso was winning, and then Drew from out of nowhere.
They did that twice.
Yeah, they did.
Got us twice.
Oh, I know.
They got us twice.
And I'll talk about it when we get to the women's. I fell for it both times.
I did too. But the feel of it was just completely different.
Yep.
Than I think ever before. And I don't know. It was a great way to kick off the show, I think. Yep. I think this was the perfect match to kick off the show.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I couldn't, going back through it, I couldn't have seen any other match kicking off the show.
Possibly the women's one, but even then, I think it was in the perfect spot for where it was.
I agree. Let's fast forward to the middle of the card because we can't talk about Drew McIntyre winning the briefcase without talking about the World Heavyweight Championship match. Now, before we get to Drew.
Yeah.
You got Damian Priest, you got Seth Rollins. Let's talk about that for just a minute. Lots of controversy apparently surrounding the non-kick-out referee botch, whatever you want to call it, from Damian Priest.
Yeah.
A lot of people online are torching the ref. A lot of people online are torching Priest. I tend to believe that either Priest got knocked out or Drew's music was supposed to hit during that, and it got missed.
Yeah.
So
something happened.
I don't know.
Yeah, something happened. And listen, this happens from time to time. Honestly, if it would have happened anywhere else in the match, I think it would have been swept under the rug more.
Yes.
But the fact that it happened at such a pivotal moment in the match, literally right before Drew came out, I think that is what a lot of people are focused on the most about it. And, I feel bad for Damian. This is his second defense in a row where something has gone haywire. The last one, his foot got caught in the ropes and
He almost died.
But I'll say this, he sold that one like a madman. He did a really good job of selling that. This time, I don't know. He looked pretty unhappy when the match was over.
Which that could have been because of Punk, because of interference. It could have been because of the spot.
It could have just been the whole situation, everything.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. I feel like Rollins really wrestled very protective in this match. I felt like he moved a little slower.
Yeah.
Which I get. First match back.
Probably not fully healed.
Maybe not. Yep.
So I'm, just taking it slow. I did like the little look back and the little breathe before he did the move where he hurt himself last time. He was like, okay, let's try this again. Yeah. And then hit it. I thought that was pretty cool.
And he likes to do that when he does the sunset flip power bomb from the top too, when he tore his ACL. Yeah, he does that too. Before we talk about the aftermath, before the match, I feel like so many people are glossing over this. Now, again, we didn't get to hear everything that happened during Monday Night Raw because we've been recording. But the Finn Balor interaction before the match, where he said, "Whatever you say, boss."
Yeah.
And they zoomed it. Oh my gosh. I almost came out of my seat.
Yeah, that's part of the reason why I thought in the moment, oh, Seth's winning. Like, Seth's winning, Drew's cashing in, something's happening because we're going to get, or Finn's going to get involved, try to attack Seth, Drew or Damien's going to get in the way, and then Finn's going to cost Damien. Like, something like that was going to happen. Nothing like that happened, but they are, I think this is like the 20th time we said Judgment Day is going to break up. It just hasn't happened yet.
But again, we said that about the Bloodline too.
Yeah.
And they just evolve.
They keep evolving.
So the Judgment Day, I'm sure, is going to evolve in some way.
Until we split and we get Wolfpack Judgment Day and everything else.
Black and purple Judgment Day.
That'd be great.
And then
red and purple.
white.
Yeah. We'll get a little red in there too. I'm all for that.
Oh, man. All right. Let's talk about the earth-shattering moment that was the end. You and I texted about it before the show. It's like, what if they do this? And we were both sort of like, that might be a waste of the briefcase.
Yeah.
I don't know if they'll do it or not. Daggum, man. They pulled the trigger.
They did.
Drew cashed in. Punk cost him.
Yeah.
And Priest came out with the title.
Yeah, and I'm normally the one that sits on this podcast and preaches the importance of the Money in the Bank briefcase. However, it might just be biased because it's Punk and a couple other things. This ruled. I love this. I absolutely love this because it just feeds into the story even more.
It makes it feel so important.
I want to see Punk. Like, to me, right now, the main event of SummerSlam should be Punk and Drew.
Yeah.
I feel like Punk and Drew, no offense to Cody, no offense to Priest and Gunther, Punk and Drew is the biggest, one of the biggest stories they're telling right now.
It is the biggest, I think.
I think the Bloodline and it are like right here, but there's so much happening week to week to week to week with Punk and Drew.
Yep.
And half the times Punk's not even there, and like stuff is still happening. So I'm very curious to see what happens. I think it's obvious where they're heading because of the pay-per-view that was announced for this week.
Yes.
In October, I believe it is.
Bad Blood, yep.
In Atlanta. And so I'm pretty sure we're heading to those two inside Hell in a Cell, which please do. That would be amazing. But the question is now, is it going to be Punk and Drew? Or is it going to be Punk versus Drew versus Seth?
I think we get the triple threat at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what they're going to do with Seth right now.
Yeah.
You and I speculated they could do Intercontinental title with Sami Zayn. That would be fun.
Yeah.
With Seth.
It seems like they're going back to Braun, though, for that.
And yes, correct. So, what do you do with Seth? Well, I think you could put him in a triple threat because you just mentioned it. Maybe he's not fully healed yet.
Yeah.
Okay. So, you give him a lighter load. Punk, if he's cleared, is going to be in his first match since December, really, because he got hurt in the Rumble.
Yeah.
So, first match, lighter load, 3 guys in there.
Yeah.
Drew can take the punishment.
Yeah.
My only hiccup with that is I don't know how you get back to just Punk and Drew by themselves unless we do a triple threat Hell in a Cell.
No, I think the way you get back, and I hate to say this, I think the way you get back is you have Punk beat Seth. Punk pins Seth in the middle of the ring. And then Drew can be like, yeah, you beat Seth.
But you didn't beat
me. Didn't beat me. And those two can kind of go at it some more.
And
I think you can then because you need, at some point, we have to have Punk versus Drew 1-on-1. And we have to have Seth versus Punk 1-on-1. And I think you can build to that one to WrestleMania like it was supposed to happen this past year and do the other one.
See, I think Drew pins Seth instead of Punk pinning Seth. So Punk can then say, you didn't pin me, because we're building to that Seth Punk match, and you don't want that to...
I'm telling you, this is how it's going to happen. Drew's going to hit a Claymore. Punk's going to throw him out of the ring and pin Seth.
Yep, bro.
And he stole another thing from him.
Chance.
Like, tell that story forever because it's so interesting.
Let me go back to the waste of the briefcase narrative.
Yeah.
Let me give my 2 cents on that, because I love that. I was going to the triple threat, so I love that you picked up on that, because I think it's a real good possibility. Because of so much history between those guys. But I feel like I'm with you. I'm with you that they didn't waste it. It was perfect to use it. I think that the Money in the Bank contract match itself was created in the right vein to give people the right opportunity. However, when Money in the Bank, I feel like, was its hottest, is when the rest of the product was on such a downward slope.
Yeah.
Because they needed it.
Yeah.
Now, you don't necessarily need it because of the great stories that are being told.
It can be used more as a story aspect than necessarily anything else.
A shot in the arm.
Yeah.
Oh, we don't have anything else going on. Oh, Dolph Ziggler's cashing in tonight.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. I think there is a scenario where both of those can be true at the same time.
Agreed. Totally agree.
And I don't think we've reached that yet.
Totally agree. We got to get there.
I honestly will say this. I'm happy it happened with the men's briefcase this time, because I feel like the women's briefcase has not. Carmella's been the one to hold it the longest.
She had it for like 9 months.
Yeah. I think spoiler alert, I think Tiffany can hold it for a lot longer and keep going.
Maybe.
And then we can get, we can have at least a lengthy contract with her. There are some people, when they win the contract, they're the type that they don't need to hold it for a long time. Right. And I think Drew is that person.
Sure.
I think Braun Strowman was that person.
Sure.
I think Cena was that person when he held it, and Randy Orton, those guys, because they are already established guys. I think if a guy like LA Knight won it, or Chad Gable won Andrade, or even Carmelo Hayes, they can hold it for a really long time because Damian Priest can hold it for a really long time.
Chelsea Green could have taken that up to day 365.
Oh, absolutely, because it fits who they are.
Yep.
So I think that is really, really important when it comes to doing all of the Money in the Bank stuff. However, I'm fine with it because it doesn't necessarily happen all the time.
Right.
I'm fine with it being used as a story mechanism.
Let's play the other side of this, because I understand the narrative, because I even wrote this in my notes after the match happened, that there's going to be people online that's going to just bury this to no end.
Yep.
I understand why.
Yeah, I do too.
I get it.
I do too.
So let's play that side of it. Explain to me how you would have fantasy booked. You don't have to go into super great detail or whatever. Explain to me how you would have fantasy booked Punk screwing Drew in the match and him not winning the briefcase.
Yeah.
And how we get to the same level that we're at right now. Is there even a good scenario that we could get there? Because Drew, for those of you that missed it, on the post show, invaded the post show, elbowed Adam Pearce in the face. That's why he got suspended.
Wade Barrett getting involved made me want him to wrestle again so bad, by the way.
I don't think it's out of the question.
I don't either.
So, paint me a scenario where maybe he doesn't rush the kickoff show.
Yeah.
Maybe he does something on Raw and he gets suspended because of that.
I mean, the easy scenario is Drew's at the top, Punk comes in and just pushes over the ladder. However, I think there's a scenario where you could have AJ Lee come out and push over the ladder. and then Drew can come back on Raw and be like, your wife did the dirty work for you, like invoke her name. Punk comes out and they have just an absolute brawl.
Yep.
Adam Pearce comes out to get involved and Drew attacks Adam Pearce.
Yep.
And that, like, I think you can kind of get to the same scenario that way.
Yep.
I don't think it works as well though as what happened here. And I get the other side of the argument, because some people are saying it's a waste of the Money in the Bank. Some people are also saying it's becoming repetitive. Because it happened in Glasgow, it happened at WrestleMania, it happened at Money in the Bank. Now it's happened. He cost him a chance at the world title on Raw one time as well. So like this is like the fourth time it's happened. It's happened. It's happened. It's happened. And I get that, but when he's not cleared to wrestle, you kind of have to find ways to make it work. And he can cut a promo like he did tonight on Raw, which was fantastic as always. But you have him get physical. I mean, when's the last time we saw a guy get choked out with a camera cable? Things like that was absolutely wild to see that. Yeah, like that.
There it is.
That is a wild shot to see that. And you got to remember, the last time these two guys saw each other, Drew bloodied Punk and left him in a bloody mess on the stage. So like it all just makes sense why they did it the way they did it. I get the other side of the argument. I think this worked out really, really, really well.
Oh, I do too. I think in the hands of Triple H and the current creative, they could have made it work.
Yeah.
And we still would have been just as interested. But man, because of how much has been taken away from Drew, how much equity has been put into this story with, like you said, Punk not being on TV, he's not cleared, all of those kind of things.
Yeah.
If you're watching this on the YouTube channel and you see this face, I just imagine the brawl out, and this is the face that's backstage.
Oh, that's the face Tony Khan saw.
Yeah.
When he, quote unquote, feared for his life for no reason. I will say this. We talk about it all the time. The best heels are the ones that have like true motivation. Like their motivation is right and pure, and we know it and we still hate it. Mm-hmm. Every time Punk does this, he's proving Drew right.
Sure he is.
And that's feeding even more into it.
Absolutely is. And it's fun for everybody to chant and to get on his case and all that kind of stuff. We're about 30 minutes into the show, and we are already going long. But there is so much to talk about. We appreciate you guys hanging with us. Again, if you're watching the YouTube channel, just hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Let's talk about the match that you and I both picked wrong, the Intercontinental Championship, Sami Zayn beating Bron Breakker. Let me just say, after we recorded the podcast, the more I thought about it, I didn't think this was going to be a squash match. Mm-hmm. The more and more I thought about it, I was like, you know what? Sami's they're going to have a lengthy match, but Bron Breakker is still going to win. That did not happen. I was shocked.
Yeah, this was the low moment of the night for me.
I can agree with that.
And nothing against Sami. I think Sami's a great Intercontinental Champion. He beat Gunther, all of that. I think they've been building Braun up so strong.
Yeah, the result doesn't make any sense.
To have him lose to one haluva kick makes no sense to me.
Agreed.
If he'd have hit 2 or 3, then I get it. Now, tonight on Raw, he came out and just speared Sami out of his shoes twice. And nasty. They're building it back up again.
Yes.
I feel like if he would have come out, no, this is the story I was telling, like I could see them telling in my mind, was him beating Sami pretty bad at Money in the Bank, do the rematch at SummerSlam. Kevin Owens is in Sami's corner, and he has to like throw in the towel because Braun's just beating the crap out of Sami so bad. They could still kind of get to that point or something like that. Because I think if this is a rematch at SummerSlam, I could see Braun winning there and just like being absolutely ballistic and just running through Sami.
Agreed.
I don't like the fact that he was put down just by one finisher.
I'll go a step further. I don't like that Braun was in this match to begin with. Because I understand them building him up, and he can't win every time.
Right.
I'm not expecting him to win every time Goldberg. I'm not expecting that. Okay? But Sami is also very credible. He's a longtime fan favorite. He beat the 666-day reign of Gunther.
Yeah.
There's equity in Sami Zayn. So it makes for an interesting dynamic because a lot of people, let's be honest, Bron Breakker's a heel. A lot of people watched him in NXT. They know his lineage. They're behind him.
They are. I mean, he's getting a lot of dog barks at him when he walks out to the ring.
A dude that can run the ropes at 23 miles an hour or whatever it is, he's getting over.
His new music too, which is I'm a fan of. Like all of that, I think it was a massive missed opportunity.
I just don't think it should have happened to begin with.
I think it should happen at SummerSlam.
I think the one time it should have happened, Braun should win and we were done with it.
Yeah.
Whether that was this time or at SummerSlam, I think it's one and done. I don't think I was ready for a big Bron Breakker struggle just yet.
No. And I think the injury to Ludwig Kaiser probably threw a wrench in some of this because it was basically Sheamus, Braun, and Ludwig were all kind of tangled together.
See, just have Sheamus and Bron Breakker go at it a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And go that route. Like, that's how you can establish him.
Yeah, I don't like the fact that it was one finisher that put him down.
Agreed.
It's not even necessarily that he lost. I think if he would have lost by, 3 finishers or hitting one, kicking out, and then getting caught by a surprise 1, 2, 3, whatever the case is. The one finisher, and it did not feel like it did anything for Braun.
Agreed.
Which I'm not a huge fan of.
Yep. I definitely agree. Let's move on to hands down, no questions asked, match of the night. The women's Money in the Bank ladder match. You called it. It's Tiffy time, ladies and gentlemen. Tiffany Stratton. You called it, and my 4-year-old also called it. This is who he wanted to win as well.
Smart.
Tiffany Stratton coming out victorious in the women's Money in the Bank. A fantastic match. Can I just say, I made a note in my phone when I was watching this at the very beginning. And I said, this might be the least star-studded women's Money in the Bank field ever. But it could be the best women's Money in the Bank match ever.
I think it is.
They delivered on so many levels.
Yeah, I think this one is the best one kind of by a lot. I think they've done a really good job. I think in the beginning there were a couple missteps and a couple of miscues, whatever the case is. It's going to
take them a while to get their feet under them.
It is, because it's a ladder match. There's a lot of people, a lot of moving parts.
A lot of inexperience.
But, man, some of the bumps Zoe Stark took were nasty. Some of this, like the ending bump with Chelsea going through the tables.
There it is.
Is just a crazy, crazy, crazy spot that she got from her husband.
They landed that perfectly.
Yeah.
They built all night long.
Yeah.
Her fear of heights.
Yep.
All night long.
And then when she finally had the courage to climb, she got pushed through the table. So I'm very excited to see what happens Friday with her. Like, I want to see her reaction. Yes. I hope she's in a neck brace. I hope we go the whole 9 yards.
She needs to be in the wheelchair.
Yes, like everything.
Yes.
And then Kane comes out and pushes her off like Zach. But
that's what happens.
But I honestly, like, this whole match was just done really, really, really well. And I said it for the men's. Everyone came out looking pretty strong. The same is true for the women's.
Yes.
Like the women came out looking fantastic.
Yep.
And I think Chelsea was a great pick. I think Chelsea would have been a fantastic Miss Money in the Bank.
Yep.
I think it fits Tiffany's character right now so well. And she's on such an uptick that it makes total sense to put it on her.
Did you see Green Shirt Guy's video of this bump?
I did.
He's literally sitting right in front of it. If you guys go check it out on Twitter, I don't remember exactly what his handle is, but go check it out. He's literally right in front of this, taking a video of it. It's absolutely
it's
incredible.
Nasty.
It really is. So what a match by the women. I'm bummed that Chelsea didn't win. Tiffany will be really good though. I think it could be one of those things where like Chelsea just her character doesn't need it.
Yeah,
because she's going to be annoying anyway.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
See, you had kind of convinced me that she was going to win it, and I'd already, like, in my mind, I would love it if she won the title and as a heel brought back the Divas title for a little bit.
That's what she said she was going to do.
And, like, all of that.
She said it on Twitter. That's what she was going to do.
I think that would have been amazing.
Because what she has talked about in a lot of interviews is she has said that she feels like she and Maxine Dupree, who are like best friends apparently, they belonged in the Divas era, not this era. Yes.
However, I think they both have a really interesting place in this era.
Sure they do. Oh, they absolutely do.
But so I can see that.
Yeah, bringing back the Divas title, that would have been fantastic. All right, let's talk about the main event. the Bloodline reigning supreme over Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton, and Kevin Owens. You called this one too, man. Solo pinning Cody to get the win. Man, what a match. It was really, really good. It was a nice finish to the match. The We Want Roman chant started early.
Yeah.
But of course, a botched low blow
Gosh, that was so funny.
Is what everybody's going to talk about.
Listen. I know we talked about botches a lot tonight. That was the best one of the night. That might be one of the best ones of all time.
I know.
Because he just, I get his concern. He didn't want to punch Tama Tonga in the head.
Yes.
So he just went like right up Kevin Owens' butt. And there was like, nope, I missed. Let me scoot closer.
And then he punched Tama Tonga in the head.
He did, yeah. It was so funny. And I feel bad for the guy because he already has a bad rap.
Yes.
From, I don't know if you've seen the video of him in New Japan with the slowest chops in the world.
No, I haven't seen the video.
I will show it to you afterwards. Okay. It's hilarious. Okay. And then his botched debut. I don't know if you saw that.
No.
Where he went to get in the ring and slipped and missed and had to like jump back in quickly and completely missed his spot. Like completely missed it.
Was it his debut or Tama Tonga's? That where he got caught in the ring apron?
That was his.
Oh, that was his.
That
Okay.
was his.
He got caught in the ring apron and the referee had to fall out.
Yeah. So I just feel bad for the guy because he's not like the stuff that has happened to him other than the chops. The chops were really bad.
Yeah.
But those two times, like, that could happen to anybody.
Yes.
Like literally could happen to anybody. Sure. And it kind of deflated the end of this a little.
Yep. I agree. I definitely agree.
Because I was also like, please just hit the package pile driver. We haven't seen it. Just do it. Just go for the move right now.
Right. Yeah. Let's talk about Jacob Fatu, who we did not know was even going to be at this event. And he's in the match. Yeah. His debut match in WWE, the first spot that he has, he takes the hanging DDT from Randy Orton. Orton's gearing up for the RKO, and Jacob just pops up, no-sells it. The crowd went nuts.
Yeah.
It was wild.
Yeah.
Jacob looked great.
He looks like the Samoan werewolf that he is. And I'm very excited to see where they go with him. Honestly, like I'm very excited to see Roman and Solo face to face.
Yes.
I cannot wait for Roman and Jacob to be face to face.
Right.
I think those two guys are going to be very interesting together. I think this did a really good job of setting up Solo as the next challenger. Because again, you pin the champion. It's setting you up big time.
Yep.
I think it also did a really good job of being like, yeah, Solo's the guy right now. Keep your eye on Jacob. Like, just keep your eye on Jacob the entire time because I think they're going to build him up really strong, really quick.
Two directions I want to go with this. And this could send us on a rabbit hole in both directions. So listeners, buckle up. That's right. I feel like it was Solo pinning Cody, setting him up as the next challenger, obviously. I feel like his promo from SmackDown was misplaced.
Yeah.
I feel like it absolutely spoiled what was going to happen. Because in my head, it makes more sense to, after you pin Cody,
play that.
Then you say, Cody, I pinned you once.
Yep.
I'm coming after your title. I'm doing what Roman Reigns couldn't do at WrestleMania. Roman, if you want it, come get it.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I know that now people want Roman, but you play that. It's like, wait a minute. What has Solo done? You know, he's the leader now, but what has he done other than powerbomb Paul Heyman? Yeah.
I think you're absolutely right because I think they played it to build a lot of hype of like, oh, he called out Roman. Roman's got to be at Money in the Bank, all this and the other, and then he wasn't. So I get that.
Well, because it was his dad's funeral.
Right. I think if they would have played that before SummerSlam, and Solo could have even been like, and the one time you beat Cody was because of me.
Exactly.
Like, I helped you beat Cody.
Yep.
Then you lost to Cody, and I just beat him. If you want it, come take it.
Yep.
So, like, I think they could have played, and
like
they could still play into
this
it.
Friday would have been a great spot to play.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. I think they should have done that. They should do that before SummerSlam, because I think, not necessarily a lock, but I think it's almost a guarantee that Roman's showing up at SummerSlam.
Sure.
I think, especially if Solo and Cody, which I'm assuming will be the match for Cody at SummerSlam.
Yep.
If it's main eventing, which it has to
at this point,
Roman's got to come out the end.
I think what we could have gotten at Money in the Bank, because obviously we weren't getting Roman because it was his dad's funeral.
Yeah.
What we could have gotten at the end, what would have gotten everybody talking, was at least getting Paul Heyman coming out and being like, hey, Solo, I talked to Roman. He's coming back.
Yeah.
And just leave it.
Yeah. Or just literally showed up backstage and just said, call Roman Reigns. Like, just that is all you needed him to do.
Yep. Boom. Place would have
It'd also been nuts if he went, call The Rock.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if he'd have done that, like, that would have been...
Oh, my gosh.
Fantastic as well.
Yeah.
Because I think both of those guys are coming back really soon. I wouldn't be shocked if they both didn't show up at SummerSlam.
Oh, that would be cool if they both showed up.
Roman's music hits. He comes out to confront Solo.
And then
Rock's music hits. Roman thinks he's on his side. Drops Roman with a rock bottom. We're kind of... Because I think at this point, after that promo, there is no more Roman and Solo working together.
Right. Yeah, my narrative of wanting Roman to come back and thinking Solo is still under his thumb, that's probably out the window.
That's gone out the window.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think you could go that route now. I don't know what... I'm expecting another member to show up for the Bloodline in the next 2 weeks. I don't know what else to expect from this story going into SummerSlam.
Or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's go to the other narrative that I wanted to bring up about this. And that's the narrative that, and we've said it a couple times on this podcast, true or not true, that WWE was concerned that Jacob would come in and overshadow Solo. Take with that what you will.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's overshadowed Tama Tonga.
Oh, easily.
And I think that's hurt them more. Because, and here's why I say that. Because Tama Tonga was brought in as this dangerous, unpredictable, unhinged dude.
Yeah.
And now you're bringing in Jacob, and I get the narrative of, well, if you thought they were bad, Jacob's even worse.
Yeah.
Well, whatever. But now, to me, that takes away the credibility of Tama Tonga.
Yeah.
I feel like we need something to get Tama back up on that dangerous level to where it's not just we only fear Jacob now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, or not call Tama Tonga the right-hand man. Like, I know they want him to be the right-hand man. They want Jacob to be the enforcer. I think they could have made Jacob both.
Yeah.
Be the right-hand man and the enforcer, and have Tama Tonga and Tongaloa just be the henchmen.
Sure.
Like, just the guys that are there to help beat up, to help do the dirty work, things like that. I honestly, I think you're right that it's him overshadowing Tama Tonga by light years at this point.
Yeah.
Has done a little damage. I also just think, to the original Bloodline, Jay was already so established that Solo wasn't going to really reach that at that time. That's not really the case with Tama Tonga.
Correct.
Jacob Fatu comes in and immediately wrecks 3 of the top guys in the company easily, and instantly becomes probably the head of the Bloodline right now.
Absolutely, no doubt.
And so I think he has overshadowed everybody to a certain extent. I don't think it hurts Solo as much as it just hurts the feel of the Bloodline altogether.
I think the way that they've built Solo and the way that Jacob has immediately come in and bowed down to Solo, and all of that, I think that's what's helping Solo.
Yeah,
and as soon as Roman Reigns' name comes out of Solo's mouth, that instantly brings him to another level.
Yeah,
and not to mention he just became the third person in WWE to pin Cody Rhodes.
Yeah.
Behind Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, because Brock submitted him. Yeah.
Him. Yep. So fourth person
to beat him, third person
to pin him.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Man, what a pay-per-view Money in the Bank was. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Again, if you're on our YouTube channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Lots of good playlists of our past videos, extra stuff going on our YouTube channel. We're almost to 100 subscribers. Please make sure you hit that subscribe button. We would appreciate it so much. Like the video. I don't know exactly what it does to the algorithm. It helps. Leave us a comment. A couple of you guys have been leaving comments recently. Some new subscribers giving us some love. We appreciate that very much. Keep those comments going. Again, algorithm, I don't know what it is. It works. So, your support on the YouTube channel means the world to us. We appreciate it so much.